Well, good morning. Welcome back to Tale 3 Cabins. It's been 5 weeks since I've been down here last. I got here yesterday evening and I took care of cutting most of the grass with the riding mower. But again, I still have them trouble spots. I'm going to try something a little different today, see how that works out. So Karen and I took a long RV trip up into New England. Excuse the voice, but I've had some sort of sinus issues since we were in the middle of our trip. And I get a little bit better, then it seems like it comes right back, or I'm getting sick with something else. All right, it is a beautiful day. There's not many clouds up there. A little chilly. I don't know if they've had a first frost down here yet, but things are starting to die. The days are getting shorter and the nights are getting cooler. So when I got here, the grass was not as bad as I thought it was going to be after 5 weeks. The riding mower handled it just fine. I still need to do what I would normally do, some weed whacking, but once I get this corn out, I'll show you what we're going to try here. We bought corn stalks for fall decorations, and they come with a bunch of corn on them. And usually when we hang these up around the house for fall decorations, the raccoons come and just tear them down and tear them apart and knock down our corn stalks. So we just tear these off as a precaution. I do have a new battery that I brought. I ordered that on Amazon last time to put into that bucket feeder. So I need to take that up there and hook it up. There's already corn in it. Hopefully it's still on the tree and didn't fall off. We'll find that out in a little bit. So in addition to cutting all the grass, I want to try to do a little bit of hunting today. This will be the first time going out. I think I'm going to go into the new ladder stand that we set up and test out, see how that goes. But a few episodes ago, I was talking about our grass cutting methods down here and try to get your opinion on some of the trouble areas that we normally use a weed whacker with, but it's a little monotonous using a weed whacker. And I got a lot of good recommendations. Some of them were on the pricier sides. Turns out that my brother-in-law has one of the things that I thought about trying. So he let me borrow it, and I loaded it up. And I'm going to give this a shot and see how it works. All right, this is called an Earthquake. They make several different models. It has the very large tires, so it should be good on the uneven ground over there. Also, this acts like a large weed whacker. Heavy-duty lines on here. He said he's never replaced them yet. He uses them at home where he has a good amount of area in his yard that he used to have to weed whack by hand, and he said that used to become tedious, and now he says it's a breeze using this. I asked him if this is self-propelled, and he said, well, it is self-propelled if you include yourself. So they do make a self-propelled model, and I think that would be more helpful on these steeper inclines, but I'm going to give this a shot, see how it works out, see how well it cuts, and if I need to, I'll replace some of these lines on here. But it was nice of him to offer it to me. It weighs about 70 pounds. It's not too bad to lug around. This engages the trimming line. I don't see a choke on it. It's supposed to just prime it 3 times from what I can see here. There's an on-off switch. I had hoped for better results, but it was pretty strenuous actually to try to keep this in control on the steep incline. It did go faster than using a weed whacker, but I worked up a sweat and it's probably about 58 degrees out here, and I can't imagine trying to do this when it's 90 with high humidity. So maybe if it was self-propelled, it would work a little bit better on this incline. But I was finding my main issue was this little plate here. If that were to touch the ground, depending on which way the unit is spinning and which way is the downhill, it would want to pull me in a direction that this is spinning. It wanted to pull me towards the downhill side. I would have a tough time controlling this, and it would almost go downhill, and as I'm trying to pull it back up, I almost flipped the thing over a couple times on its side. That was a bit of a struggle just to try to keep control of that. There's a lot of little divots. It's not perfectly level ground there. Little truck holes, there's some stones, there's stuff sticking up. So it was pretty hard to actually get this done. Now I did do it in 20 minutes, which is, like I said, much quicker than using the weed whacker. But in that 20 minutes time, I worked up a pretty good sweat. I'd be interested if this were self-propelled. I'm sure it would do better, because a lot of times I was pushing, and if I got stuck in a divot, I had to push pretty hard and put my hip into it. But self-propelled would probably make it easier, but I don't know if it would be a good permanent solution, even if it were self-propelled, just because of walking on that terrain, the chance of twisting your ankle, just maybe breaking a bone in your foot, just the way you step down on uneven ground. It was worth a try. Again, it did better than the weed whacker when it comes to time, but one thing with the weed whacker is you can just stand in one area and get a pretty good swath and then move over, and you're not constantly fighting the hill as much with a weed whacker as you are with this thing. That's my take on that. I'm going to continue to check out other methods, and I know everybody's had their opinion what we should do with this hillsides. One by one, we'll check it out. Somebody said I should just cover this up with stone and wrap it, keep anything from growing on there, and just leave it low maintenance. And that is a possibility, but it's a good size area and it'll be a good chunk of change. We're also talking about maybe putting a deck out here that would cantilever over the side of this hill. We're not exactly sure how that is going to be laid out, so I don't want to make any permanent changes just yet. There was suggestions about putting some row of steps up here so it's easier to come up and down, and you could take a shortcut instead of walking all the way around the drive. And that is on our plans, to put some sort of steps, whether it's going to be a wooden set of steps or cutting into the hillside and putting down little slabs or railroad ties. So that'll be sometime in the future. All right, well, that was an interesting test. I'm glad I got a chance to use it. I thank my brother-in-law Mark for letting me borrow it. And now I got to clean this thing up because it's pretty dirty. So I plan on going hunting later this afternoon. The sun is going to set right around 6:45. So it's about 12:15 right now, but this is going to be the first hunt, so I'm pulling everything out of the closet. I'm going to take inventory on everything, see what I have, what I forgot, what I might have still at home, what I meant to order last year but never did for this year. So I'm just going to lay everything out here, get things ready. So all that stuff. Today's going to be about 65 for a high. I have my little AC inverter that I'm going to bring so I can run my internet. Headlamp, just a few odds and ends, little lights here. Batteries may not be that great for the brim of my hat. Here's another one. Now this is always a debate. I usually do not bring it the first time in early fall, and then I kick myself for not bringing it. But I think I'm just going to put it in there, and that would be my little thermocell to chase away mosquitoes. There has been some issues with the deer chronic wasting disease. And I think there's another one going on too, kind of in our area. And I don't know how that has affected the deer population. I don't really need any cold weather stuff there. I don't need heaters. Binoculars, yes. I'm pretty good with my broadheads on the current arrows that I have on there. Thought we put a hanger up there, but just in case, I'll put one in the UTV. Fix a camera on there and kind of move it around. I feel like I'm missing quite a few other things. Got some lighted knocks. I think I do have to change those out, but I don't think I'm going to change them out today. I have twine for hanging stuff, or another release. Really don't care for that one. We are missing some stuff. I need to find my knife for gutting a deer and a drag rope. It might be in here. My larger pack that I usually use during gun season. There's some binoculars. There we go. There's a rangefinder. I think we're narrowing it down now where all this stuff went to. Yeah, there's some rubber gloves and stuff for gutting. Okay, that solves that mystery. More brim flashlights. A regular flashlight. Still one more thing, and I think it's in here. Yep, there we go. Yep, for sharpening a knife. Alright, I'm going to take these up. I'm going to go up a little early and do some work up there. But these are rubber pads that interlock. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to put them in the blinds that we have up there because the wood floors, when you're moving around on the chair, sometimes it creaks, makes a little bit of noise. I don't know how much noise on the outside can be heard, but this is just going to soften the sound inside of the blind, and you can move around a little bit more without giving yourself away so much. So I have a set for each blind up there. Those were pretty cheap. I got them on an online auction site. All right, I think we're winding down here. Hat for hunting, and then of course my little internet device to keep me in touch with the world while I'm sitting up there if we have any issues with the cabin down in Tennessee. Our Verizon, as I mentioned in the past, does not work on our cell phones, and this has an AT&T SIM card built into it, and we just pay for data as you go. Then I plug it into my AC inverter, and I also need, one second, I'll be right back, a battery. And I'll probably charge this up really quick before we take off, but a little light. Usually a small 2-amp battery like this will last me the whole evening, maybe drain the battery down to about 50%. Also has some USB ports on there if I needed to charge something in a pinch, like my phone or something up there, but I think I just have to organize this and then we'll be all ready to go. Okay, I'm all packed up here to fill the feeders, work on the blinds, got my bow to go hunting, and then I'm going to hurry up when the sun goes down, come down here, and I have everything. Here, I'll show you. I'm going to pick this stuff up, throw it in the UTV. I got my telescope in here, a couple tripods, and then, I got to put the camera equipment over there. Okay. So I'll throw this in and go comet hunting after I finish deer hunting. I think that's going to work out okay. It doesn't have to be wall-to-wall carpeting in here. Looks like I'm going to have to come back and do a little maintenance tomorrow. Bring some bug spray up here There's a couple of little wasp nests up in the corner. Down there, it looks like maybe some squirrels or some kind of chipmunk got in through here. But there's some acorns in here. So bring back the broom and the dustpan, clean things up a little bit, get down the spider webs, cobwebs, and shouldn't take too long. Now, a couple videos ago, somebody made a comment about they can't believe that we are allowed to bait deer like this with these feeders in the state of Ohio. And it's always been kind of a controversy, I think, what they call baiting deer, because there's really no way of making crops or food plot up here, and it's not economically feasible for us to do it with the different properties, different owners, different methods of hunting that's going on. And I don't think this is much different if you were to plant a food plot on a little field area and then set up your stand right on top of that food plot. It's very similar to baiting, if you ask me. We try to use the feeders just to increase the traffic around here. Now, there is a stand, but it's pretty far away. So usually what we try to do is either catch them on their way to the feeder or catch them as they're leaving the feeder. But it's all about just creating traffic. It's not so much that we're sitting right on top of a feeder and we're going to drop a cinder block on their head. So for us, it's just a way to increase traffic. Our neighbor down that way does have a nice little food plot set up. Has a ladder stand right there, right on top of it. I think it's similar. I don't know what you guys think about it. I know there are certain states and regulations that say you can't bait deer. To me, this is just to increase traffic. It's most economical and easiest for us. If I were down here more often and if I could get the tractor up here more often, well, yeah, it would be nice to till up a nice little food plot, plant it, tend to it. But for us, most of the time in the summertime, I'm just down here cutting grass, doing a little bit of maintenance, and don't really have time to make a food plot. These were both empty, but it was 5 weeks since I was here last, so 35 days. I'm hoping the deer aren't sticking their little tongues in there and stealing a lot of food, but it probably could have ran out in a 35-day period. Alright, so I'm situated up here and it's going to be needing a few modifications. Right now there's still a lot of leaves on the trees, so it's hard to get a good grasp of things up here, but I know that that's going to clear out and that kind of goes downhill back there. A lot of deer hang out directly in front of me and come through this way. There's usually a lot of good traffic back here, but when I got here, the feeder was not in the position I was hoping it was going to be in. And I know when we installed the feeder when we were here last, that it kind of looked a little bit, didn't look like it was going to stay up there. I had hoped it would, but it didn't. It fell to the ground. I'm hoping it didn't get damaged. All the corn was gone. That must have spilled out. So it's a good sign that something ate it. I did install the battery. I tested it out. And it looks like the motor is kind of binded on something to let the feed come out. I'll take it back down and I'll work on it tomorrow morning and then bring it back up tomorrow. I am set up. I have the Wi-Fi set up here, and I'm going to need another hanger too, just something to hang my coat and my bag on. This hanger here is a little bit difficult. If a deer were to be coming right now with this shooting rail here, to grab that is a little awkward, so we might have to modify that a little bit. I could use just a regular hook maybe on that side, hang up my bag, and also a jacket or something like that. I tried my little camera mount and I cannot get it to go on this rail down here. Let me show you if I can get it better. I can't get it to clap on this rail, it's a little too wide. So if I stick it here, that's a little awkward too. That's fine if I want to shoot something over here. But if I want to shoot something on that side, it would be nice to be sticking out a little bit more. So I'm going to need to play around with this a little bit too. I don't know if this is going to come in handy. I do have another rig that holds the camera, but it's kind of a production. It's an arm similar to what holds that bow up. It's pretty big. It's a strap that goes around the tree and then a ratchet strap. And I don't want to set that up and take it down every time I'm hunting. Pretty much an uneventful hunt that evening, and I expected as much with all the commotion I created in the woods. I did have a successful comet hunt though. When the feeder fell out of the tree, I'm sure it fell right on top of this dispersal motor, and I tried to unbind it the best I could, messed around with it, and now I'm going to give it a test, see what happens. All right, this is day 3 being down here, and yesterday was a bit of a bust. I really didn't see anything deer-wise. No surprise there. It's still warm. There's a lot of leaves on the trees. There could have been deer walking past, not too far away, and I probably would have never seen them. So not too much happened last night. I did run out and went to my little spot on top of the hill behind us here, and shot a few pictures of the comets that were in the sky. I got 2 of them. There was Comet Swan, and then there was Comet Lemons. Lemons is a little bit more defined, has a bigger tail. Swan is kind of a little bit of a disappointment from what they were saying it was going to be. All in all, it was a pretty nice evening out there. Very starry skies, very dark over in that area. So the Milky Way was out. A nice peaceful evening. But no deer during hunting yesterday, so we just cut to the chase, day 2. I got all my stuff in here to do some more work on some of the list of chores I made for today. So first thing we're going to do is clean out this other blind here. I repaired the hanging bucket feeder, at least I think I repaired it. Housekeeping.
Not mine. All right, well, the first attempt was not successful, but it does seem to be the best way to take this feeder on and off of a tree rather than hanging it from a rope. I guess if you had a rope with a carabine or something, but you still want it somewhat high enough where the deer aren't going to mess with it too much. But I'm going to put some deeper screws in. This is a flatter part of the tree, and I'll see well, I guess that works. Let's test it this time and see. All right, let's give it a regular test, see what happens. All right. Well, it will not be 5 weeks before the next time I come down here. I think I've made enough ruckus here in the woods. I'm going to go ditch the UTV that away about 500 feet and then come back and go up in that tree. And it's 3:30, so we got another 3.5, 4 hours of daylight. Okay, so I opted not to go hunting this afternoon. It's 85 degrees as a high today. It's 5:30 right now. The sun is starting to go down, and it's still in the 80s, so a little too warm to be up there and sitting in a tree. There was a breakout of these pumpkin beetles, or whatever people call them, pumpkin ladybugs. They seem to enjoy the warm weather, and they're all congregating along the side of the house over here. So it just did a little work on the inside, went up on top of the hill and did a little work up there with some of the feeders and stuff like that. But I'm going to try to go out. It's clear right now. There might be some clouds moving in, and try to see that comet again, because then we got rain coming in first thing tomorrow morning. So I have to bug out of here in the morning. I'm going to try to pack everything up after dinner. I'm going to make myself some spaghetti. I got some sausage going here on the grill. I'm going to slice this up and throw it in the sauce in a little bit. But that is going to do it for today. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know when a new one is coming out, and keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody.